VJ, let's go to the NBA.
Yes.
And, a lot of guys have been releasing top 10s lately.
Yeah. I saw Dr. J's.
Dr. J left out LeBron. My goodness.
I thought of you first. I thought of you and Nick Wright first.
LeBron is my man. Like, I got him second.
I know you do. I know you do.
And I told Nick this on TV the other day on First Things First. I thought there was because he said, "Oh, you biased about Jordan because you grew up watching him." I wasn't a 7-year-old when I was watching Jordan. I was in high school, junior in high school when he entered the league.
You're a grown man.
So I was most of it. I was a grown man for most of it, right?
Yeah.
But there was a time, VJ, when I did think LeBron would surpass Jordan and become the GOAT. It was really his first stint in Cleveland.
Okay.
And I thought. I didn't criticize. I was one of the few nationally that didn't criticize him for going to Miami. He needed to get some talent around him, but I did think
was that during the LeBron Broussard days?
Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean, but
the nickname whatever Broussard or LeBron.
Is
Broussard,
that what they called me? I didn't even know that.
Really?
Nah.
Oh, okay,
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, Skip would call me sometimes when I was on First Take with him. LaChris.
Well, he called,
which I have to admit was good.
Yeah, well, he calls him LeShannon, so the love works for him.
He was the first.
He was the first. Okay.
I think I was the first he labeled it because I was close with LeBron. Did a lot of stories on him.
Yeah.
Probably did 6 cover stories.
I remember
on him for ESPN magazine. But anyway, I do think I thought. Is he selling? I thought he was selling himself short by going to Miami. Because I really thought, now obviously he didn't look good in the playoffs against Boston his last trip there, last stint in Cleveland, or his first stint, but, last game or series. But I thought LeBron was good enough to eventually lift that Cleveland team to a championship. And had he been able to do that, who knows what his career would have held.
The narrative would be different.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been taking the Jordan route. You know what I mean? The Jordan route was, Chicago was a mess when Jordan got there and had always been essentially. And he obviously turned him into a dynasty. So I thought LeBron was going to do that and could have done that.
Yep.
But, he went to Miami and he won. But anyway, I got him number 2. Doc didn't even have him in the top 10.
I saw.
I think with a lot of the older heads, they do hold kind of the, look like you stacking teams. Durant, LeBron, I think they hold that against them. That's just my opinion. I don't know. I don't know what else it could be. But Shaq released his top 10, and I want your comments and your thoughts, DJ.
Yep.
So the first team, Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Shaq himself. Okay. Mm-hmm. Second team, Steph Curry, Allen Iverson, Tim Duncan, Karl Malone, who also made Dr. J's top 10, so he's getting a lot of love this week. Isaiah Thomas, the legend.
Zeke.
And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So what are your thoughts?
It felt like, let me get the surefire ones in first, team, the first 5, and then let me pay some homage. And let me give some love. And then, let me pay some homage. Karl Malone, and I will say this, for whatever people think about him, and we don't have to reverb his personal stuff. Everybody know it by now. If you don't know it by now, Google it on your own time. I'm not your researcher. So, but when you think about him, man, you just put the tape on. Chris, I'm a tape guy. Put the tape on. You can show me numbers and all that stuff. Put the film on. He was a monster. And he was he was 82 guy. He was in 82, at least 80 games to 82 for like 14 straight years. Iron Man. Yes. And would give it to you. Would give you the straight business and improve this game. Remember, he couldn't shoot free throws. He had no face-up jumper.
He became a very good mid-range.
A very good mid-range, almost like Horace Grant, like that left or right elbow or the free throw line, right? You give the pick and pop right there. Oh, Malone, that's money ball right there. So it felt like I did like to see that because I think Malone gets left off of a lot of lists, but I think that's more personal than it is basketball.
I don't think he's top 10 though.
No, me neither.
Right. But I hear you.
But you put the tape on, you go, hey, this guy's kind of forgotten. It's like Barkley, right? We see TNT Barkley, and that's what most people relate to him. But you and I are of the age. No, bro, go back and put the tape on. He was
now. Look, I'm gonna ask you this because I don't know where you're at on this. I've caught heat for saying that Barkley and Malone, Karl Malone, but more so Barkley, I think, they're better than Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah, they are.
To me.
They are.
And that's not taking anything from Dirk.
No.
Dirk is nice.
He is, but Dirk
he was not better than Charles Barkley and Karl Malone.
No. Charles Barkley was the second best player on the team that was the best basketball team ever assembled, the Dream Team. Barkley was the second best player. He was the second best player in the league at that point. He was right there behind Jordan. There was nobody in the league better than Charles Barkley. So that's another guy I think is left out, but the numbers and the points and stuff don't rack up. But with Shaq's top 10, Steph, exactly. Steph, I get it, but Steph he hasn't been playing yet. But when you start to add some of these guys in, you got to tell me you're knocking out. Just 10 I wrote down just real fast. Kobe, MJ, Kareem, Russell, LeBron, Magic, Bird, Wilt, Big O. And then at 10, I'm going to give you 3 guys and you pick Zeke, Moses, or Dr. J. So if you're telling me, if you're telling me Steph's in, you got to tell me who you're knocking out. If you're telling me AI, and once again, Virginia in the house, I saw AI play as a junior at Bethel High School.
You don't think Steph is better than AI?
I don't think Steph is a top 10 player.
I think AI thinks Steph is better than AI. Okay,
I'm commenting on top 10. No, I'm commenting on top 10. But so if you're telling me one of those guys are top 10, then you got to tell me who you're knocking out. That's how I do my top 10 list. It's like when I hear a name like Steph, it's like, okay, I'm not going to argue that Steph is on your list, but you got to tell me who you're knocking out. You're taking out Big O. You're taking out, you can't take out LeBron, Magic, Bird, Wilt, Russell, Kareem, Magic, and Kobe. Jordan and Kobe. Those guys are clad, in my eyes. Those guys are clad. So 8, 9, and 10, you got to maneuver a lot, and I just think it depends on who you're talking to. So I don't agree on AI. I don't agree on Steph. Not yet. Steph wins ring 5, Chris. 3-4 million, put some more 3-pointers in the bucket, some more points on the board. Then I might have him in my top 10. AI just doesn't have the ring. I don't think you can have a guy in the top 10 in the NBA that never won a championship before. I don't think that's fair. And, who else did he name?
Malone.
And Malone's not in. And I love Zeke. Zeke to me would be my honorable mention 10, but I'll be honest, that's me being a 35-year Detroit Piston fan. I can admit that. I would slide him in at 10.
I love Isaiah. I used to always say he is the greatest small player ever. Until Steph.
Wow.
Steph's better.
What?
And Isaiah was awesome. Like I said, a lot of people tried to put Iverson ahead of Isaiah. I'm like, nah. Isaiah was better. No slight on AI.
That's hard for me, Chris.
Phenomenal. Steph, man, he changed the game.
He did.
Not just that. He changed the game. He's the greatest shooter ever. He was the hub. I get it that those 2 championships with Durant was the better player. But it was Steph's team. He was the hub of 4 rings.
Yeah.
And the best player on 2 of the rings. And still the guy that they game plan for on the other 2 with Durant. And so I do think Steph's top 10. Look.
Okay.
Wilt, the argument for Wilt, and I get it, and I'm actually going to start. Have you watched Goliath yet?
No. Is it out?
I'm going to watch one of the, okay. Yeah, I believe so.
I'll check. You know me, I watch all the sports docs. Okay.
But he didn't win much. He obviously dominated statistically.
Yeah.
But and I will admit, man, the losses to Russell, which were almost all the time, they were so close.
Yeah.
They were like a few points. And if that happens, it's different. But
if Will had another guy, right? If Will had another star.
Look, in Philly, he did have the Hal Greer. But look, in LA,
yes,
he played 4 years with a healthy Jerry West and Elgin Baylor. And they got the ring the year, Baylor got hurt and ended up retiring after that. So he wasn't really there for the ring, but they had Gail Goodrich. Like, that was, if he had gone to LA and they had dominated, maybe won 3 rings in his 4 years or something like that, it'd obviously be completely, he might be viewed as the GOAT. Who knows? But I just think, there was feelings that he just didn't bring it.
They didn't win enough.
Sometimes in the big games.
He was just so dominant though, Chris.
And that's hard to leave. The numbers were just cartoonish. Like they will never, it's few numbers in sports that won't ever be beaten. But nobody's ever going to come close to averaging 50.
50 and 25.
Nobody's going to score 100 in a game. Right.
Nope.
50 and 25. And then 44 another year points.
100 might get touched.
I hear that. Really?
Yeah, because the defense is just so lax. Real talk, Chris. The three.
Still, the closest anyone's been. Now, Kobe in this era would obviously be a much better three-point shooter.
Yeah.
So you wonder, okay, on a night like that when he just had it going, if he hits a bunch of, well, he probably hit a lot of threes that night. I think.
Remember, he used to hold the record.
In my mind.
He used to hold the record for 12 made in the game until Clay broke that. Kobe used to have the record.
So, but that's the thing. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I will never see an individual score 100 points. Right. That ain't much of a limb.